Dragon Dreams, Book 4, The Gnome King, written by Gina Virginia Casella. Message, The Gnome King, Gemstones, Rocks, Minerals, Elementals, Sovereignty. The Gnome King is always around. His energy is amplified when the sky is purple, as he is a bridge and gatekeeper for all worlds. He is a leader of the mythical beings in the forest, such as fairies and ETs. He protects the locations of goddesses and spirits that hide in wells. He also works to protect Bigfoot and Frankensteins alike. The Gnome King serves as a guardian for both the physical forest and their inner forest that represents an individual's mind and connects it to other worlds and minds as in the collective. No one can enter or exit without the Gnome King's permission, because he is actually the gatekeeper and the porthole in our hearts. He works with our best guide, our intuition. The Gnome King views us as caretakers of his garden, so he is granting authority to minority groups and urging us to assume responsibility. As a powerful masculine energy who comes to the earth willingly, he aims to help us heal from past violations against the land that sustains all life. Through communicating and bestowing gemstones, the Gnome King reminds us that we are interconnected with the gardens and elemental kingdoms. As a masculine force, he will shelter and sustain all those concealed in the wells, from goddesses to various formed and formless folks, to souls so frightened they left their physical forms. Because of ingrained beliefs on our planet, there are frustrating limits. But as the veil thins and we ascend, the trees, one by one, are beginning to stir. Yes, the trees are walking. They always were. Yet, like us, they have amnesia. The Gnome King is like Polaris in that he steps back to allow us to reveal our true character. He challenges us to question if our actions are truly virtuous, or if we only do the right thing when there are points or rewards, or no consequences for wrongdoing. The Gnome King is interested in seeing if we can demonstrate principled virtue when given the freedom to choose. Those the Gnome King assists now assist you. They take on familiar forms to get your attention and lead you to food sources. For example, they might appear as a branch falling, directing your attention to the raspberry bush it fell on. If you notice or feel one of these shapeshifters investigate, there is likely a gift, something edible, a clue to recalling information, and much more. Like the fox, if you see it, it's because it wanted you to see it. If you find something, it wanted you to find it. But remember, finding something does not designate it for the taking. In these moments, ask what you found for insight, as it's their free will in choosing, not yours. And not the Gnome Kings. We're reminded that sometimes what we discover is a secret safe for keeping. You may feel like you're being watched by curious and fascinating beings. If so, it could be spirits who can take on animal or elemental forms. Politely set whatever boundaries feel comfortable. For instance, you could ask them not to enter your home, but allow their presence outside. Be prepared to explain things and repeat yourself, as they are genuinely interested. Remember, some are native to this planet, while others are not. The beings need to stay hidden for their own safety, as they are aware of the dangers, such as the Salem witch trials. They report that our society still embodies a medieval mindset in many ways. Motivated to help, they initially reach out to the women, honoring the divine feminine that was betrayed long ago when patriarchy emerged. By staying unseen, they take a stand for dignity, knowing that abuse in any form is unacceptable. They also reach out to children, as children are more open to these experiences. Shapeshifters can transform at random to help us in unexpected ways. They may get carried away while attempting to assist us. For example, if someone is chasing you, a shapeshifter might find it creative, not amusing, to turn into a tree and fall on your pursuer. These beings have learned that such innovative actions can be fatal for mortals. As a result, we often discuss why some shapeshifters or angels try to help us while others do not. There is often a clash between different ways of knowing and belief systems. The fairy realm, unfortunately, experienced this frequently as fairies intended to help, but instead caused grief for many people. As a result, many preferred to avoid engagement with fairies, even though their helpful nature had wrongly earned them a reputation as tricksters, when in fact they are not. Some people also blamed their poor treatment of others on fairies, which led to blame on all kinds of monster and species. The Gnome King reminds us that most humans are carnivorous, selectively choosing which animal species are acceptable to eat based on cultural norms rooted in survival needs. The Gnome King emphasizes that the ghosties or spirits he works with are all vegan. He notes that many of them used to be carnivorous because they lacked awareness and were focused on surviving rather than thriving, including himself. He uses food to draw a parallel between cultural clashes. He asks us to imagine new neighbors moving in and inviting us to a barbecue, only to find they are grilling our pet dog because they genuinely believe dogs are no different from deer roaming the area. Perhaps the new neighbors are also barbecuing the sick elderly woman down the street, reflecting a hunting survival mindset that views the vulnerable as prey. The neighbors are genuinely sorry and confused by the situation. However, their attempts to help or be kind are inadvertently causing harm. Until we adopt a vegan lifestyle, both literally and figuratively, connecting with other species who could assist us will remain challenging due to these cultural clashes. Initially focused on holding minority groups, the Gnome King folks now seem open to helping anyone in need. Their core message is that healing our relationship with the land by ending cycles of abuse is a prerequisite for their emergence from the underground, which they view as a temporary safe space. Many of them are biological mortal beings. All of them are spiritually significant members of our greater collective consciousness. They suggest that all aspects of life, both positive and negative, are necessary for wholeness. It conveys that we cannot selectively embrace only the parts we want. Instead, we must accept that all archetypes exist within us, with different ones rising to dominance depending on our life circumstances. The Gnome King represents Mother Nature's realm, where all living things originate from, the earth ruled by the Gnome King. This kingdom incorporates other realms like the fairy kingdom. The Gnome King was chosen to rule over these kingdoms because without the nourishing earth, there could be no physical forms of biological life. He will be the first to remind you of your importance, while also noting that you are but a speck of dust, a fleeting image caught in time. There are more specks of dust on earth than stars in the sky. Spirits wishing to embody nature must go through the Gnome King, who has close ties to the dog-monkey folk. When I ask the Gnome King to clarify if the Gnome King and Fairy Kingdom are the same, he simply replies, "Sure." However, when I further inquire how these two kingdoms compare to the angelic kingdom, animal kingdom, bacterial kingdom, and others, the Gnome King grins and states, "There is no difference." The Gnome King reports that he has also abandoned categorizations, using language only to help us find common ground. He understands the intended meaning and will adopt the speaker's terminology, unconcerned if the phrasing shifts over time. He concludes that there are no such thing as angels, gargoyles, trees, you, me, or even him. It's just us.